Big Ben, Captain America,
Yeah.
back to back, defending his title in Canada. Didn't drop a set.
Yep.
Right. I would say the banner wins are probably the one against Fonseca looks sexy.
Yep. Good match there.
The one against Menchik was pretty. Ben
pretty
played
routine.
well. Jakob didn't look great.
Menchik was spent from his 2 or 3 setters, and Bartik, probably took it out of him the one before. But to your point, it still wasn't a fault of Ben's, right?
Yeah, and that's but then like even you can even make like some the match against Lerner didn't look like he was at full pelt, but then the match against Beanock, Ben played fantastic. But the point is, like, these are the kind of matches that, and I was talking to someone in DC about this. It's like it might have been even Ben Futterman, and it was like, for someone as highly ranked as Ben, you would expect him to get through a match against like someone like Tabilo, right? Like 3-3. Like that's the one that you got to just kind of get through. We don't need to be dragging this out into 3 sets.
Sure.
And I think what we saw here by him going through all of these players in straight sets is that's a big step in the right direction.
Yep.
And I think it's really, really important for Ben to reestablish the baseline of like, not the baseline on the court, but the baseline of I am in the group of these players and up, not these guys down here.
Looking at
right, exactly. And I think that's really, really important. Like when the Fonsecas come call in, he has to be able to dispatch them and say, no, I'm the line.
If he is true top 5 in the raw material.
If he is, yes.
And I've gone on record with this numerous times, much to the ire of my of said co-host of this show. Certain players you have to be, Alvin. You have to be. That's what comes with that number. I'm going to take this from 2 angles. Number 1, Ben has never been that player to me. He's always been a good player on a good day when he's serving well and hitting the ball well. And he's always been, in my opinion, extremely average when he's not.
Okay.
He's had great wins. He can have great wins. He has huge upside. I've also said on this podcast numerous times, he's still getting good at tennis. He's still finishing, getting good. And you can't understate that as if he was this top phenomenal junior that won 4 junior slams and killed it in college for all 4 years. He did junior tennis for a hot minute. He did college tennis for a hot minute, and boom, before you know it, the guy's getting round of 16 of Aussie on a rocket, lacing down the line, stupid shot selection balls that just went in. And oh, look at that. I made it. And now here we are. We've asked this young man who had a phenomenal tournament to now be a phenomenal pro. That all that it comes with. He's always been willing to put in the work. He competes like nobody. But doing the thing, night in, night out, day in, day out, winning those routine matches is something that he's just now completing the iteration, right? Given our previous analogy. Now, I will also say my favorite match of him from this entire tournament came against Lerner 10. You know why? He tends to do terrible against other lefties. And he played great. Not great like he blew him off the court. He played smart. He didn't try to out-hit Lerner, which he's done in the past. He didn't try to just go through him and hammer all forehands. He trusted his backhand. He hit a slice when he needed to. He came in quite a bit. He had high first serve percentage. And he showed Lerner, if I don't give you the pace to beat me with, you can't go through me. And he even showed that, which is what I was hoping he would kind of learn with the clay court swing and just realize how to set up more points and just not always have to hit the go button on the darn big forehand. And I feel like he's starting to do that. His returns are so much better. His depth is getting better. I still think it's still got a lot to go, but that just tells me his next iteration is just getting better at all the same things. And I was very impressed with Ben this tournament not because of the win and not dropping a set. That's more happens than it is that you control it. But I was just impressed that he's getting better at the little things. He's getting better at not missing the routine balls, not missing the simple, Alvin, the simple return of serve misses and short and blocking balls, middle of court and getting ran and so on and so forth. He's starting to play quality top 5 tennis where you're going to have to play your best ball just to take a set off of him, let alone to beat him. That in itself is a progression and a level that you reached when you get to that point.
Yeah, and take a step back. It's like, okay, when we start talking about the cycles, okay, Ben hit the scene in 2022, late 2022, made that semifinal run Australia in 2023. So let's call it that's about 3 years. Right? That's about 3 years. Okay. Now he's had a couple runs at this. What does the next version of Ben look like? Is it, I mean, it's a rocket, right? From nothing to top 10 effectively.
Top 10.
And it's now like, okay, if we're going to go from 5 into top 3, how do we get there? Because the only other direction is getting past, right?
Correct.
Which is kind of wild when you start to think about a guy who's like still learning, as you said, learning how to play tennis, right?
At
this level. At the obviously, sorry. I mean,
sure.
I thought that goes without saying.
But it's a qualifying statement, right? Because I've always thought Ben was an overachieving top 10, maybe even top 15 or so in the world player. And that's not a knock. That's realistic. His results, save for some of his high-end wins and results at a slam or two, are closer to top 12 to top 15 in the world than they are top 5. He just has happened to have some really good results against other top 5 and top 6 players. And I also feel like everybody is a step behind, numerically and statistically, Carlos and Yannick right now. And he was in that cohort, which is a bigger cohort, I might add, and therefore he's been in that conversation. Having said that, I feel like Ben, let's just say to give him his props, he's been an overachieving top 10. And I mean no shade. I think that's actually a compliment. At least that's the place where this is coming from. But to be a 10 to 5 is a massive undertaking, as is 5 to 3, as is 3 to 2 and 2 to 1. There are steps to be taken, and every level up, it's like going up another 100 feet near the top of K2 or Mount Everest. I mean, you don't get there by accident, and you darn sure plot yourself very carefully on the way up to that spot. You don't just look at there, happen to be on the top of Mount Everest. Here I am. No, buddy. You months, years planning. The execution gets you to Mount Everest. It's because of how hard it is to do. So, top 10, overachieving. He's 5'6", give or take whatever numeric number he reached. Now he's at that point where he's staying there and improving. And that to me is huge. And he's doing it on regular days, not just playing well, right? He's also been fairly healthy, which has been nice, where unfortunately for Taylor and other players like him in that same range, they may be on the way down. A little bit dinged up, little knee thing here, a little shoulder thing. They're getting older. Ben still has that in his favor. He's still considerably young, all things being considered. He's also tennis young, which means his body's not so beat up as some others' bodies are, which I kind of like. Now we are getting into the true, let's see what this young man can do his next 3 years. Right now, I think, and I told you before, I think that's why I thought he had the best chance to reach top 5 or the next potential American to win one, because all of this stuff was still new to him. And he's had some pretty good success up to this point. So I'm really looking forward to Ben starting to add. Alvin, if you looked at every one of his matches, and I know you've looked at ones that I looked at the same, I could place a ruler, right? A ruler on my TV. And I could tell you that Ben's depth is still not where it should be for a top 2 or 3 player in the world. On 3 to 5 shots around, he only has 7, 8 balls around. I mean, right. You're talking about half. So with that said, what if he added 6 more foot of depth on that forehand, really got his legs under? What if he got that backhand really dialed into a spot, not just an area, right? Where he was able to dictate play, get the inside in that he wants, get the inside out he wants, get that forehand on the line that he's so good at, and be able to now work in the volley, be able to serve and volley when necessary, because he got pretty good hands, and obviously he loves the net in general. And he was able to break you consistently once to twice a set for anybody outside the top 20, and maybe once a set on average for anybody from top 8 and out. Alvin, you are now looking at a player that could be top 3 in the world. And in my opinion, that's where he is trying to get to. And I think he can do it.
You listed 3 things, which is like, oh, I got to do 3 more things. But those 3 things are extremely difficult.
Very difficult.
Extremely
but doable
difficult.
If you put the work in. We're not saying he has to get a serve. We're saying he has to get spots better on a serve. We're not saying he has to get backhand. He's got a good backhand, and it's gotten a lot better. We're saying he has to get better depth on the backhand. We're not saying he has to get a return. He's got good returns now. He has to now bank on returns.
That's the one I would push back on. The returns are still that's the one that gives me the most pause. It's like,
and that's fair. But he's a big server that never had to break. And now he's learned that he needs to break. And that is serving wise. I know I was growing up as a big server. I never worried about returns. I was always like, I'll take it to a breaker. Big deal. He now has to see the returns as his next big mountain to climb. And I feel like he made a good start this tournament in particular doing so. I also think didn't he win the clay court tournament? What was it? It wasn't Stuttgart,
he won
Munich.
Stuttgart, Munich was the 500 he won on clay.
I was impressed with that. He beat Caboli in the final. I remember.
Yeah.
He was returning well. I remember saying it then. To me, as his returns go, which I think can only get better, more depth, more variety, but more importantly, more depth and more solid. Alvin, I'm telling you, the kid is getting it. All he has to do is buckle down and do it more.
Let's go to the return a little bit, because I've been thinking about this a lot over the last few weeks, and I'm like, at some point, TH and I need to have a conversation about return theory. Yep. And this is, we've already gone an hour and a half, and I told you this might be a 2-hour podcast. So either you're welcome, or I'm sorry, or you're still here, whatever. I don't care. It's fine.
Break it up in half.
Oh, there will be pieces all over the internet too. But like for our ride or dies, if you're still here, drop one of these in the comment section for me.
No.
The return theory is kind of the underpinning of having what we'll call good returns, right?
Yep.
And that is, there's a combination of a few things there, and I know you'll go here with me. We can unpeel this onion, but there's an intent of what I'm trying to get done on both first and second serve returns, depending on the player that I'm playing, right? The type of serve that I'm facing. And there is this intricate mental gymnastics of trade-offs, right? Guy has a big kicker. Okay, I got 2 options. I can come all the way up, and I can kind of short hop it, take it off the rise, and I can start to find direction with my hands. Downside of that is I'm now inside the court. If I miss my spot, I'm on defense on the very next ball.
Right? 100%.
Or I can back up. I can go, okay, I'm going to take this ball when it drops. I got to back up way behind the baseline. You see players do this a lot. And Ben did it in Munich on clay, right? And at that point, the onus on you is to make sure that the return is well hit, deep, heavy, because you're putting yourself in a very defensive position off the very first ball unless you hit that return quality. And you have to make sure that it's struck well enough so that the server doesn't have the ability to come in and knock off that first volley as well, like certain volley off of it, right? Okay, I feel like he's hitting that serve out wide, that angle, like I got to cut that off. Okay, which means I need to hedge. Does it mean I jump all the way out there? Do I jump out there short? Do I jump out there deep? There's all these little things that come into what I like to bucket as return theory that gets built over lots of testing over time. And that goes all the way back to probably 16s when the guys start to pump it, right?
Right.
We talked about all the miles he doesn't have. And the reps he doesn't have. I think this is where it shows up the most. And this is the one that's going to be the hardest to make up the deficit.
Fair.
That's the one that worries me. And I think that is the limiting factor of that 5 and in. Because as you're getting more reps, those guys who already have those reps are also getting more reps against your serve. Which he's also putting a lot of weight
pressure
into.
On too, 100%. Let me pull you back a little bit.
Hold me back.
If the WTA I'm going to say parity was the same on the men's side,
Mm-hmm.
you would have a phenomenal point that I would agree with already. But that's not where we are. If Ben were not left-handed and 6'4", 6 foot, whatever tall he is, I would also say that's a possibility. But he's left-handed and tall. And so the 86 whatever percent of the tour that is right-handed
They're also
kicks
tall too. So I'm going to take that out. They're also tall.
for height-wise, but I'm saying the kick out wide isn't as big of a deal because of his left-handedness and the fact that he's not Lerner T in height, I'm saying, is a counter in addition to him being left-handed, is what I'm saying.
Okay, fair.
Number 3, he doesn't have a flaw. It's just not a strength yet. If you told me he had a jack backhand, funky wrist, one-hander, something, I'd be like, yeah, it's going to take a while to fix that, let alone turn into a strength. Kid's got a good backhand, got a good feel, got a decent block, got a nice slice, and he rips the forehand. Dare I say, he don't use his legs enough in a lot of his shots that he really could, which to me tells me that it is simply him continuing to learn. You mentioned the return matrix, which I think is a great way of coining it. I always count, and I tell my top juniors this, you've got 3 basic returns. You've got a reset return, the clay court style heavy ball. You've got a counter, and you've got a punish. That's it. Don't think anything more about it. If the guy is an absolute gunslinger, you need a block. At the highest level, it's the stab block that made famous by Novak Djokovic himself, who would block that ball that would be your ace, that he would make you hit a ball within 2 feet from the baseline that would come in like on a rainbow, that would land on 2 feet from the baseline at 6 miles an hour, sitting up about 8 feet in the air for you to have to hit a ball that could go through him on, and he would steal your ace once a game. I feel Ben, his counter has gotten a lot better, although the depth can continue to improve off both sides. I think his reset's getting pretty good, as seen by his clay court success. And he's never really a great clay courter up to this point, but he's only going to get better at that as time goes on. It, to me, is his punish return that actually needs the most work. And I look at a guy, does he punish elsewhere? Does he have a decent online backhand? Does he have a big forehand? And the answer is yes to both. He just has to get more reps and put more focus on doing it. So even still, when I look at the things that he has to gain, we're not saying, yeah, he doesn't have a big forehand, though. He's got a huge forehand. He just now has to find ways to your point with the matrix, get himself in more 30 alls to get 30-40, get himself to more left 30s instead of 15 alls, to where he can use that chance, that second serve chance, to put more pressure on you. I'm going to add one more thing, not just of the 3 types of returns. Yeah, and I'm categorizing, paraphrasing to keep it succinct. There is also a type of returner. There is the I make all returns.
Right. Yeah.
I don't go for a ton, but I don't miss returns.
Yeah.
Right. And there is the riverboat gambler. I make returns. I make you play, but I go for them when I can to put pressure on you. And if you're having a bad serving day, those are the kind of guys that it's down 40-15, 40 love. They'll let you get the ace. They're like, good job. I'll let you have that game. I'll come back at you the next game. And I'm going to hold enough that I get 6 chances to break you. You know what I mean? I think Ben has to start going from the Novak Djokovic school of returns and say, what if I had great returns, though? What if the bar was great returns? Not be decent, not be okay, not win a tournament. No, great returns. And that's my bar. It would take pressure off my serve. It would help me to truly, because where I'm trying to go, I have to have great returns.
Yes.
And then I could be able to take that as my next year mission. It's going to take 2 years, but my next year mission, because after 3, where's he going to want to go, Alvin? He's going to want to go to 2 and 1. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not like he will not need the return at that point. And I feel, to your point, I agree with you 100%. It's one that may give you the most pause. I think it's the one skill that, along with his depth, that will give him the most upside should he, and I'm going to say when he, gets it down. His depth and his returns will be the defining part of his career. I just think that he'll get it sooner than we think. He's gotten everything else. And I feel like if he gets those 2 things down, and they're very simple to understand, hard to master, but very simple to understand. It's not like we're having him work on shot selection or creating the continental skills or getting comfortable coming forward. He has it already. If anything, he's a little bit more erratic with when to do it, but he knows what to do. Those two are skill sets that he's just not good enough at yet, day in, day out. And if he can get day in, day out good, Alvin, I'm telling you, the kid could be three in the world within the next calendar year.
And there's one thing that you mentioned that I go, okay, this is the point. This is where I get off the boat. You start talking about the things that he has and the technical skills
Sure.
that you didn't really recognize any holes there. I'm gonna go back to the comment you made about the backhand. Ben's backhand is very short. He muscles it. He goes from here, contact, direct across. There's not much right hand extension. And this is important. Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing though. Like, yes, he is lefty. I'm also lefty. So I'm hitting the backhand.
Lefty, certain lefties can be true lefty.
He's heavy lefty. Yes, he's very lefty.
Heavy lefty.
Yes,
his right hand isn't as pronounced. It's not as dexterous, for lack of a better word.
And that shows up in a couple places. One of them being the return on the ad side. But I'm going to start with the backhand in rallies. He loves to go cross court. He will go down the line, but he does not go down the line with the stick. He usually goes down the line slice to then look for the forehand. Why is that important? To be able to go down the line with that backhand on the lefty, sorry, it's a lot of extension and it's a lot of right hand finish, right?
Agree.
Where else do we need extension and right hand finish? On the ad side return, when they go hard to the backhand, and you go right leg straight to right hand and just go with it. Yep. That's the one. When does that show up? That shows up on break points, right?
Agree.
Yeah. And it's that specific.
Yeah.
It's that specific where one technical, I'm going to call that a technical change, can make an extreme difference in two tactical places.
Agreed.
But hey,
I also think his left foot is way too closed on his normal backhand. His backhand line to me is more of a slap, and it pulls inside all the time. I think he steps across and goes way too closed on it. He's ran around a lot of balls over the years, right? Because he had a big forehand, so that's a big part of that as well. He could clean that up. Brian, if you're listening, I would do the lesson for free. I just need 30 minutes with the brother. It's all I need. Fix that left foot. Get him be able to go a little more. His open stance isn't bad at all for a player of his level, but he just tends to step across, which won't let that right hip release to truly hit the clean down the line strike. To me, when a player gets, and you can appreciate this, Alvin, I go always as often as I can with the outside foot going to that side, right? If I'm right-handed, obviously, with my forehand, I'm going to go right foot first, right? If I'm going to own the backhand, right? And this is what Yannick Sinner does so well. He goes left foot first on that backhand. He hits as clean an open stance as he does a step in. And when he goes step in, he has the ability to hold it long enough.
Yep, hold the hands.
That you don't know if he's going to go line or cross. You know who else did that pretty well was a guy named Novak Djokovic. And I will say, ironically,
and Andre Agassi as well.
Agassi was phenomenal at it. He could just hold it so long. Marty Fish, another one, had a phenomenal hold.
Yeah.
Marty's backhand was ridiculous. David Nalbandian. You get where I'm going with this. They all had the ability to set up on the left, right-handers, hold, step forward, not across, and would hit line anytime they needed it. You look at the guys that don't have such great backhands. They tend to step across. They tend to close off their stance. They tend to step small left, big right, and therefore they're pulling across their body. Now, if they had a big enough forehand, they got away with it up until a certain point. Andy Murray. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Andy Murray had a great backhand. So the reason I say this all is, I think some of this is also footwork, because now that you have the feet, and he's a tall kid, in a more of a balanced situation, he can actually rotate the body. The hip and the shoulders could come through, and now he can actually drive and hit a clean down the line. We hadn't even talked about that part of his game, but I feel that's his Coco Gauff second iteration. Can he have the darn backhand that you have to respect, which will bring you back to the forehand, takes pressure off the forehand, and takes pressure off the sneak and serve. And I think just like Novak would cut off the corners on you on the wide serves and go back hard middle and almost backwards on the middle, because he's already in the middle of the court when the ball comes back, I feel like if Ben were to attack the returns like that, Alvin, this young man still has plenty left in the tank. I hear you. Will he get it? Are they technical flaws that he will have to master? And will he be able to do it at this level? I think the answer is yes, because he's still so relatively new that he just may not know it. And B, well, as he's working on it, it's not like you're telling the guy who's been out there, he's 33, you got to remind him, no, he don't know it yet. And I feel like he will get better at that. And as he gets better at that one, he's going to be good enough to extrapolate into other things. And it will then take over into the backhand return, the backhand step in, the backhand approach, right? And I think at that point, the kid's not slowing, he's not short on racket speed. So it's just a matter of him aligning his body a little bit better to be able to use it more efficiently.
Yeah, and we're not talking about like going from 80 in the world trying to get in the top 50. We're talking about, what's he ranked, like 6 in the world?
6 in the world. which is arguably as hard, but you already have some confidence there.
Yeah, so let's put it all in context.